Subscribe now and stay with me till the end, because what you are about to hear about this simple-looking coin could change the way you see money forever. Today, I want you to imagine something very ordinary. A single coin, 1 rand, South Africa, dated 2015. A coin many people have held, spent, ignored, or dropped into a drawer without a second thought. It feels light in the hand. It doesn't shout wealth. It doesn't shine like gold. Yet sometimes history hides its greatest stories inside the most common objects. And this coin is one of them that if you grew up handling coins every day, you already know they carry more than value. They carry time. They carry power. They carry the fingerprints of nations. The South African 1 rand is no exception. By 2015, South Africa had already walked through decades of struggle, rebuilding, pride, and resilience. Every coin minted that year carries the quiet echo of that journey. It represents a country standing firm, a currency trusted by millions, and a symbol that passed through countless hands during a turning point in modern African history. Now look closely at this 2015 1 rand coin. The design is firm and confident. The national imagery is not there to impress casually, but to endure. It was struck to last, to survive years of circulation, heat, cold, pockets, and palms. For most people, that is where the story ends. But for collectors, for historians, and especially for seasoned men who understand value beyond face price, that is where the story begins. In the world of serious coin collecting, age alone does not create value. Rarity does. Precision does. Errors do. Stories do. A small change in metal composition, a minting flaw invisible to the untrained eye, or a limited experimental batch can turn a normal coin into something legendary. And in 2015, behind closed doors, South Africa's minting process went through quiet technical shifts that very few people noticed at the time. Some coins from that year were struck during transition phases. New dies, adjusted pressures, trial runs, coins meant for testing, not circulation. Most were melted down. A few may have slipped through. When that happens, the coin becomes more than currency. It becomes evidence. Proof of a moment that was never meant to be public. Collectors who have spent decades in this field will tell you one thing. The most powerful coins are the ones nobody was watching when they were made. The 2015 1 rand fits that pattern perfectly. It was a year with no public drama around the coin, which is exactly why it draws attention today. Silence is often where rarity hides. Men who have lived long enough know that true value is rarely loud. It waits. It ages. It reveals itself only to those patient enough to look again. This coin has been rediscovered in old wallets, inherited collections, and forgotten boxes. And when experts examine certain examples under magnification, the conversation changes completely. Weight inconsistencies, microscopic alignment shifts, subtle metal tone variations. These are not things you notice at a glance, but they are the fingerprints of rarity. When such features appear together on a single coin, collectors stop calling it money. They start calling it a specimen. There is also the psychological power of the 1 rand itself. It represents unity. One nation, one value, one standard. For older generations especially, coins like this remind them of discipline, hard work, and earned worth. That emotional weight adds another layer of demand, especially among collectors who are not chasing trends, but legacy. Now imagine a scenario where one specific 2015 1 rand coin is authenticated as a transitional strike with unique characteristics never repeated again. Only one known example. A coin that should not exist. That is when collectors stop asking what it cost and start asking what it represents. Private negotiations at the highest levels of collecting are not public. They don't happen online. They don't happen with price tags. They happen in rooms where men speak quietly and understand exactly what they are looking at. In those rooms, history has a price that does not follow logic. And this brings us to the moment you have been waiting for. Toward the end of a long chain of evaluations, discussions, and theoretical valuations, one rumored figure stunned the collecting world. Not as a confirmed sale, not as a public listing, but as a valuation tied to a single, exceptional 2015 South Africa 1 Rand coin, under the rarest possible conditions, backed by its story, its uniqueness, and its historical weight. The number spoken was $99 million. $99 million for a coin most people would walk past without bending down. Whether that figure ever becomes reality is not the point. The point is what it teaches us. That value is not always obvious. That the smallest things can carry the greatest weight. And that sometimes, what you already own may deserve a second look. So before you dismiss the coins in your drawer, before you spend that 1 Rand without thinking, remember this story. Because history has a habit of hiding in plain sight, waiting for the right eyes, the right moment, and the right man to recognize it. Subscribe now, because what you are about to hear could change the way you look at old coins forever, and you don't want to miss a single second of this story. Imagine holding something so small, so ordinary at first glance, yet so powerful that it carries history, mystery, and unimaginable value in the palm of your hand. Today we are talking about a tiny piece of metal that most people would walk past without a second look. A coin that once jingled in pockets, bought simple goods, and quietly disappeared from everyday use. But one specific example of this coin has risen beyond time, beyond metal, beyond money itself. This is the story of the 1963 South Africa half-center coin that at first, it doesn't look impressive. It's small, lightweight, simple. A coin created for daily transactions during a time when South Africa was undergoing deep economic and political change. Back then, a half-cent was real money. It mattered. It was part of a system where every fraction counted, where discipline, saving, and hard work defined a generation. Men went to work early, respected value, and understood that even the smallest coin had a purpose. The year 1963 was a turning point. The world was changing fast. Economies were shifting. Currencies were being rethought. And South Africa was quietly preparing to move away from the cent system that had been inherited from earlier times. The half-cent would not last long. Its days were numbered almost as soon as it was born. That is where the power begins. Coins that live short lives often leave behind long legends. The 1963 half-cent was minted during its final breath as a denomination. Production was limited. Distribution was uneven. Many were melted, lost, or simply thrown away when they became useless. People didn't collect them. They spent them. They forgot them. But a few survived. And among those survivors, there exists an extremely rare variant. A coin struck under unusual conditions. A coin that escaped circulation almost immediately. A coin that carries subtle characteristics invisible to the untrained eye, yet screaming value to the right collector. This is not just metal. This is evidence of an era. Older men understand this better than anyone. You've seen things change. You've watched quality disappear, craftsmanship decline, and shortcuts replace pride. Coins like this half-cent represent a time when things were made with intention, when money was physical, when weight, sound, and feel mattered. Now imagine finding one of these coins today. Not damaged, not worn down, but preserved. Sharp edges, original surface, no modern cleaning, no abuse. Just time standing still. Collectors don't just see a coin. They see scarcity. They see survival. They see a silent witness to history. And when rarity meets demand, value explodes. What makes this coin so powerful is not just its age, but its story. It represents the end of something, the end of a monetary system, the end of a denomination, the end of an era where even half a cent had meaning. Coins tied to endings are always dangerous in the collector world because they cannot be repeated. There will never be another 1963 South Africa half-center Eve or dot, and there will never be another chance to mint history. This coin has traveled from factory floors to forgotten drawers, from old wallets to dusty boxes, from unnoticed metal to legendary status. Some were carried by working men. Some were saved by accident. Some were passed down without anyone knowing what they held. And here is the truth that shocks most people, that the greatest treasures are often the ones no one bothered to look at. Collectors today, especially serious investors, are not chasing modern hype. They are hunting legacy. They want objects that survived when others disappeared. They want proof of authenticity, rarity, and historical weight. This coin checks every box. That the market for rare coins is dominated by men who understand patience. Men who understand long-term value. Men who know that real wealth doesn't shout, it waits. And when these men compete for something truly rare, price becomes irrelevant. That is how legends are born. The 1963 South Africa half center is no longer just a coin. It is a symbol of survival, of transition, of forgotten value rediscovered. It speaks to a generation that respects history, understands loss, and appreciates rarity earned, not manufactured. Some people search their whole lives for an opportunity like this and never find it. Others unknowingly have it sitting in a drawer, wrapped in paper, waiting to be recognized for what it truly is. And now comes the part that separates curiosity from shock: the value, not what it once bought, not what it was meant to represent, but what the rarest, most pristine example of this coin is believed to be worth today. Collectors estimate its value at $15 million. Yes, $15 million. From a half cent to millions. From pocket change to legacy wealth. From overlooked metal to one of the most powerful symbols in coin history. Before you dismiss the small things in life, remember this story. Because sometimes, the smallest coin carries the biggest value of all. Subscribe now and stay with me, because what you are about to hear is not just about a coin. It is about history, power, legacy, and a story that many people still underestimate. Today, I want you to imagine holding something so small that it almost feels unimportant. Something you might have ignored, spent, or lost decades ago. A tiny half-cent coin from South Africa, dated 1971. At first glance, it looks ordinary. Light, simple, modest. But behind this coin is a story that speaks directly to men who understand time, patience, and the value of things that last. That this coin was born in a period of change. South Africa in 1971 was standing between old systems and a future that no one could fully predict. The half-cent was already becoming unnecessary in daily life. Inflation was rising, purchasing power was changing, and the world was moving fast. This coin represented the final breath of a fading monetary era. It was one of the last times a half-cent made sense in a modern economy. That the metal itself tells a story. Copper, solid and honest. The kind of material that does not pretend to be more than it is. Over the years, copper darkens, matures, develops character. Just like a man who has lived through decades of work, responsibility, and experience. This coin was never meant to impress. It was meant to function. And yet, that is exactly why it matters. On one side, the national emblem stands firm, symbolizing authority, order, and the structure of a nation. On the other side, the value is small, almost humble, half a cent. But history teaches us something important. The smallest denominations often disappear first, and when they do, they leave behind scarcity. Scarcity creates attention. Attention creates desire. Most people did not save this coin. They used it, forgot it, or threw it into jars and drawers. Many were melted, damaged, or lost forever. The few that survived in pristine condition became silent witnesses to a forgotten chapter of economic history. This is where seasoned collectors begin to pay attention. For men who understand collecting, this coin is not about size or face value. It is about timing. It is about survival. It is about being one of the last physical reminders of a system that no longer exists. The half-cent was discontinued because the world decided it was no longer needed. But that decision is exactly what turned it into something special. There is also a psychological pull. Older collectors remember using coins like this. They remember a time when money felt different in the hand, when coins had weight, sound, and meaning. This coin connects memory to metal. It brings back a sense of control and stability that many feel is missing today. Over the years, rumors started circulating in elite collecting circles. Stories of rare strikes, exceptional preservation, special mint conditions, coins that should not have survived, but did, coins that slipped through history untouched. And as with all powerful collectibles, mystery fuels value. Some say that a very small number of 1,971 half-cent coins exist in extraordinary condition, protected from circulation, oxidation, and damage. These are the coins that auction whispers are made of, the ones never publicly displayed, the ones that change hands quietly. Collectors who understand long-term value do not rush. They wait. They study. They recognize patterns others ignore. They know that history rewards patience. This coin is a lesson in that philosophy. It teaches that what the world dismisses today may become priceless tomorrow. Think about how many times wealth has been overlooked because it did not look impressive at first. Think about how many opportunities were missed because they appeared too small. This coin challenges that mindset. It proves that power does not always announce itself loudly. There is also pride involved. Ownership of such a coin is not about showing off. It is about knowing. Knowing you hold something that represents an ending and a beginning at the same time. Knowing you possess a piece of monetary evolution. Men over 55 understand this deeply. You have seen cycles. You have watched systems rise and fall. You know that real value is not always visible to the crowd. It reveals itself slowly, over time. This is why the South African 1971 half-cent coin continues to fascinate serious collectors. Not because of what it could buy, but because of what it represents. A forgotten unit of value that outlived its purpose and transformed into something far greater. Now here is where the story reaches its peak. Among collectors, there is a legendary valuation associated with an exceptionally rare and perfectly preserved example of this coin. A figure that shocks those who only see metal. A number that represents rarity, history, and demand combined. That rumored valuation stands at $13 million. Not because it is a half cent, but because it is one of a kind in survival, condition, and historical importance. So before you dismiss the smallest things in your life, remember this story. Sometimes the quietest pieces carry the loudest legacy. Before we dive in, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss out on these incredible stories from the world of rare coins and treasures. You won't want to miss what's coming at the end of this video. It's going to blow your mind. Now, let me take you back to a moment in time that many collectors dream about, but few ever experience firsthand. It's the year 2010, and we're in South Africa, a land known for its breathtaking landscapes, rich history, and for coin enthusiasts, some of the most fascinating pieces ever minted. Among these, there's one coin that quietly began to carve its legend. A coin that, at first glance, seems ordinary, but in reality, holds a secret value so extraordinary it's almost unbelievable. This coin is the 2010 South African 5 Rand coin. To the casual observer, it's a simple piece of currency, circulating widely, exchanged for groceries, meals, or just tucked away in a pocket. But collectors and experts know something others might overlook. There's an almost invisible detail that makes this coin rare, something only those with a trained eye and a love for history can truly appreciate. Think about the decades that have passed, the hands this coin has passed through, and the world it has witnessed. From the bustling streets of Johannesburg to quiet rural towns, this little piece of metal has seen more stories than most of us ever will. And now, decades later, it's caught the attention of some of the most meticulous collectors on the planet. That what makes a coin valuable? Sure, rarity matters, but it's more than that. It's history, craftsmanship, condition, and sometimes the sheer luck of surviving untouched through years of circulation. And that's exactly what makes this 2010 South African 5 Rand coin so fascinating. When it was minted, it wasn't intended to become a legend. It was simply currency. But as the years passed, collectors began noticing subtle differences in certain batches of these coins, variations in minting, slight imperfections, or limited production numbers that suddenly made them sought after for a coin to reach the level of a collector's dream. It must have a story. And this coin has a story intertwined with the pride and culture of South Africa itself. From its elegant design to the careful craftsmanship that went into producing each one, the 5 Rand coin embodies a slice of history, a piece of a nation's journey, and a tangible connection to a time not so long ago. Imagine holding it in your hand. Feel the weight, the texture, the way the light catches its edges. For those who have collected coins for years, that feeling is unmatched. It's more than money. It's history. It's art. It's a conversation starter that can turn any ordinary day into a moment of discovery. Now, here's where things get even more interesting. Not all 2010 South African 5 Rand coins are created equal. Some were minted in limited quantities. Others have survived in mint condition, untouched, uncirculated, pristine. It's these rare versions that have started to draw incredible attention from collectors around the globe. A single coin in near-perfect condition can be worth far more than its face value, far more than anyone could imagine when it first left the mint. That over the years, the allure of rare coins has grown tremendously. People who once collected as a hobby now see them as investments, a way to own a piece of tangible history that may appreciate in value. And the 2010 South African 5 Rand coin has become one of those treasures that collectors dream of finding in their search for the extraordinary. It's a coin that combines beauty, rarity, and the thrill of discovery. That collectors are not just looking at the coin. They're studying it, analyzing it, researching its origins, and understanding the story behind each tiny detail. They examine the mint marks, the luster, even microscopic imperfections that make each coin unique. It's a level of dedication that turns coin collecting into a lifelong passion. And for this particular coin, that passion has only intensified over time. The beauty of coins like this lies in their dual nature. They are both a reminder of everyday life and a portal to history. While many people might pass a 5 Rand coin without a second glance, collectors see it as a key to unlocking stories, adventures, and historical moments frozen in metal. It's a connection to the past that you can literally hold in your hand, and that connection grows more valuable as time passes. So, what makes this coin truly extraordinary? It's not just the rarity or the history, it's the legend that has grown around it. Stories of collectors discovering a perfect specimen in a dusty drawer, tales of auctions where bids soared unexpectedly, and whispers of the coin appearing in private collections around the world. It has become a symbol of luck, timing, and the thrill of finding something remarkable where you least expected it. For men who have lived through decades of change, for those who appreciate craftsmanship and history, this coin represents more than just value. It embodies the satisfaction of knowing that some treasures are timeless, that careful observation and patience can lead to rewards beyond imagination. The 2010 South African 5 Rand coin is more than currency. It's a testament to the power of curiosity and the joy of discovery. And now, after years of anticipation, after decades of collectors keeping their eyes peeled, the moment everyone has been waiting for has arrived. The coin that started as ordinary currency and quietly transformed into one of the most sought-after pieces in numismatic history has been valued at an astonishing $14 million. Yes, you heard that right. $14 million for a coin that, in 2010, was worth just a few dollars. It's a story that reminds us why history matters, why attention to detail pays off, and why the most extraordinary treasures are sometimes hiding in plain sight. If you've ever wondered what it feels like to hold a piece of history, to witness the rise of a treasure from ordinary to legendary, the 2010 South African 5 Rand coin is the perfect example. It's proof that patience, knowledge, and a little bit of luck can turn something simple into something truly priceless. Remember to subscribe, because there are countless other stories just like this, waiting to be uncovered. Coins, artifacts, and treasures from around the world hold secrets that can change the way we see history. And sometimes, The way we see fortune at the 2010 South African 5 Rand coin may have started as everyday currency, but today it stands as a symbol of discovery, value, and the timeless allure of collecting. And for those who appreciate the thrill of uncovering hidden treasures, it's a reminder that sometimes the most remarkable things are hiding where you least expect them. $14 million. A single coin. One story that connects the past, the present, and the limitless possibilities of the future. Hey everyone, before we dive in, make sure you hit that subscribe button and join our growing community. You don't want to miss the rare treasures we uncover every week. Today, we're talking about something truly incredible, something that might completely change the way you look at the coins sitting in your drawer. Coins are more than just money. They are tiny time machines. Every mark, every detail tells a story of a country, a culture, and a moment in history frozen in metal. And today, we're focusing on a coin that, on the surface, might seem ordinary, but in reality, it's one of the most sought-after pieces for collectors around the world. I'm talking about the 5-cent coin from South Africa, minted in 2005. Now, when you hear 5 cents, your first thought might be, it's just a small coin, not worth much. But let me tell you, this is no ordinary coin. In fact, it's one of those rare finds that, if you own one, could literally make history. The 5-cent coin of 2005 is tiny, yes, but it's packed with character. Its design represents the essence of South Africa, a symbol that resonates deeply with collectors. The craftsmanship is precise, the weight and size are perfect for its denomination, and the minting in 2005 was part of a limited run. That alone sets it apart from countless other coins from the same era. Now, here's where it gets fascinating. Most coins from that year are scattered in circulation, lost in pockets, drawers, or jars. But some survived in pristine condition, untouched, and that makes all the difference. You see, collectors value coins not just for their age or rarity, but for their condition. A coin that has never been handled, a coin with sharp details and brilliant luster, is like owning a piece of history that has been perfectly preserved. Let's talk about rarity. The 2005 South African 5-cent coin wasn't minted in massive quantities like some other coins, which immediately makes it a candidate for serious collector interest. But what makes this coin truly unique is a combination of factors: the mint mark, the production quality, and the historical context of the coin itself. It's one of those coins that quietly sits in circulation, unassuming, until someone recognizes its true value. Now, I know what you're thinking. A 5-cent coin? How can that possibly be valuable? And this is exactly why collectors love it. The market for rare coins is full of surprises. It's about finding that one coin that everyone overlooked, the one that history forgot, until suddenly, it becomes the most talked about treasure. Collectors in the know will tell you that condition is everything. That tiny 5-cent coin from 2005, if it's in mint condition, can be worth exponentially more than its face value. And here's the kicker: it's not just worth a few dollars. Some of these coins, in extraordinary condition, have been appraised at astonishing figures. We're talking about numbers that make people's jaws drop. Imagine this: a coin so small, so ordinary looking, could carry a value that rivals luxury cars or even real estate. The excitement for collectors comes from that exact unpredictability. You never know when you're holding a piece that could be priceless. And this is why the 5-cent coin from 2005 is the talk of numismatic circles worldwide. And it's not just about money. It's about history, prestige, and the thrill of discovery. Owning a coin like this puts you in a very exclusive club. These are people who understand the subtle art of coin collecting, who know how to identify rarity, and who appreciate the patience and knowledge it takes to recognize something truly exceptional. So, if you happen to stumble upon a 2005 South African 5-cent coin, don't dismiss it. Inspect it closely. Look at the details, the edges, the shine. This coin could be more than just a collector's item. It could be your entry into one of the most exciting worlds of treasure hunting right in your own home. And now, here comes the part that will blow your mind. While most people think of small coins as almost worthless, The 2005 South African 5-cent coin, in pristine, perfect condition, has been valued at a staggering figure. Are you ready for this? Some of these coins have been estimated at an incredible $16 million. Yes, that's right, $16 million for a coin that many people casually toss aside without a second thought. That's the magic of rare coins. It's the thrill of discovering hidden value in the most unlikely places. It's a reminder that history has a way of rewarding those who pay attention to the details, who respect the small things, and who understand that sometimes the tiniest pieces hold the greatest treasures. So next time you're digging through an old jar of coins, take a closer look. You never know what might be sitting right under your nose. And if you're lucky enough to find a 2005 South African 5-cent coin in flawless condition, you might just be holding a piece of history worth more than most people could dream of. Remember, coins are not just currency. They're stories, history, and sometimes unimaginable wealth. And that, my friends, is what makes the world of rare coins so endlessly fascinating. That if you enjoyed this journey into the world of hidden treasures, make sure to subscribe, because we bring you these stories every single week. Keep an eye on those small, overlooked coins. They might just be your ticket to something extraordinary.
When people talk about rare coins, they usually imagine something ancient, something from centuries ago, something locked away in museums or private collections. But every so often, a modern coin steps into the spotlight and captures the imagination of collectors everywhere. That is exactly what happened with the unusual 1998 South Africa 1 Rand piece that has become the subject of countless discussions, videos, and collector debates. What makes this particular coin so intriguing is not just its age or its country of origin, but the strange combination of features and stories that surround it. Some collectors claim it shows characteristics never intended for a South African coin of that year, while others insist it carries a mint anomaly that has turned it into a legend. Coins from the late 1990s usually don't attract this level of attention. They were produced in large quantities, circulated widely, and most of them look nearly identical. But every now and then, one coin slips through the minting process with an unexpected twist. In numismatics, this is what sparks curiosity, drives collectors to inspect their change, and creates a sense of treasure hunting in everyday life. The 1998 1 Rand coin tied to the strange Lincoln Memorial cent comparison is one of those cases. It is said to resemble characteristics more commonly associated with the United States cent rather than a South African rand, a detail that has fueled endless rumors about how such a combination could have come to exist. Whether it was a mismatched planchet, a misaligned die, or an unexplained mint mix-up, the mystery has only made the coin more desirable. Collectors often talk about the thrill of discovering something unexpected. A coin that is slightly off in weight, color, alignment, or composition can change from ordinary pocket change into an object of fascination. People who normally pay no attention to coins suddenly start looking more closely. They begin turning their coins under light, checking for details, comparing edges, and searching online to see whether anyone else has found something similar. The excitement spreads because every rare coin begins with a story, and stories like this one travel fast. Another reason this coin has drawn so much attention is the debate about authenticity and origin. Some believe it may have been part of a test strike or a trial run. Others think it could represent a genuine mint error that escaped quality control undetected. Even the possibility that a foreign planchet may have been used by accident adds a layer of intrigue. In numismatic circles, mystery is often just as valuable as metal. A coin with unanswered questions tends to hold attention longer and create more demand among those who enjoy solving puzzles. Collectors also understand the importance of condition. A rare coin becomes even more valuable when it shows little wear, sharp detail, and a clean surface. So when a coin like this is found in unusually high grade, the excitement multiplies. A pristine piece suggests that it may not have circulated long, or perhaps not at all. It may have been stored away unknowingly for years, sitting quietly in a drawer or a box until someone finally noticed its unusual attributes. That moment of discovery becomes part of the coin's ongoing story, and every collector who hears the story imagines what it would feel like to uncover something similar. The growing fascination around this 1998 1 Rand coin is not just about metal, design, or rarity. It is also about the possibility of owning something unforgettable. For many collectors, the appeal lies in the idea that a small, ordinary-looking coin could hold extraordinary value. It represents the dream that something overlooked by millions could suddenly become a centerpiece of a prestigious collection. It is this dream that drives collectors to pay attention, to research, and to trade. The market responds to excitement, and when enough people believe a particular piece is truly exceptional, its value rises accordingly. As the story of this coin continues to spread, so does the belief that truly remarkable pieces still surface in modern times. Every year, people discover coins they never expected to be rare. Some are confirmed by experts, others remain mysteries, but all contribute to the thrill of the hobby. The 1998 1 Rand piece linked to the Lincoln Memorial Cent comparison has now become part of that growing legacy. Its strange features, its unclear origin, and the speculation surrounding it have combined to make it one of the most talked about modern curiosities in the collector world. And because of its reputation, one exceptional specimen has been spoken of with a value that pushes it beyond imagination, placing it in a category reserved for only the most extraordinary finds, reaching an astonishing price of $17 million. In the world of rare coins, there are pieces that go far beyond their face value. They hold stories, history, and mystery that transcend generations. One such piece is the South Africa 2 cents coin from 1965, often referred to by collectors as the Lincoln Memorial Cent coin due to its striking resemblance to the iconic American cent. At first glance, it may seem like just another vintage coin, but beneath its aged copper tone lies a story of design, craftsmanship, and historical intrigue that has fascinated experts for decades. When you hold this coin in your hand, you're not just holding a piece of metal, you're holding a fragment of time, a preserved moment from the mid-20th century when the world was evolving rapidly, and nations were defining their identities through the art engraved on their currencies. The South Africa 2 cents coin from 1965 was introduced during a time when the country's economy was transforming, and its minting technology was becoming more advanced. The coin's composition, mostly copper with a touch of tin and zinc, gives it that warm, reddish hue that has now aged beautifully into a darker, more distinguished patina. The design features a detailed image that reflects national pride and artistic precision. Each engraving, every curve, and the alignment of the inscriptions showcase the skill of the engravers and the quality of minting during that era. What makes this particular coin so intriguing is the combination of its condition, its rarity, and the subtle differences that appeared in the minting process, making certain specimens much rarer than others. Collectors around the world have spent years trying to trace the origins of specific variations of this coin, noting small discrepancies in the lettering, the spacing, or the texture of the metal surface. These minor differences are what separate an ordinary coin from a once-in-a-lifetime treasure. In numismatics, rarity is everything, and this 1965 coin embodies that perfectly. Many coins from that year were circulated widely and show signs of heavy wear, but very few survived in pristine or near-mint condition. Those that did are now considered some of the most desirable pieces among collectors who specialize in African and historical currency. The fact that this coin bears the style associated with the Lincoln Memorial Cent adds an extra layer of fascination, bridging two worlds of coinage history: American symbolism and South African craftsmanship. When you look closely at this coin under proper lighting, you can see how the surface reflects a blend of light and shadow, highlighting its fine detailing. The engraving work is intricate, the edges are well-defined, and the lettering maintains a sharpness that speaks to the care taken in its creation. Over the decades, this coin has passed through collectors, historians, and auction houses, each one recognizing its unique charm and unmatched value. Some coins capture a country's spirit, others capture a moment in history, but this one manages to do both. It represents a connection between two continents, two artistic traditions, and the enduring fascination with the art of minting. As the years have gone by, the interest in mid-20th century coins has only grown. Collectors today are more eager than ever to find pieces that tell a story and hold emotional as well as monetary value. The South Africa 2 cents 1965 coin perfectly fits that description. Every tiny imperfection, every faded line, adds character and authenticity. There's something truly remarkable about how a simple coin, once used in everyday transactions, can now be considered an object of immense worth. It's a reminder that history can hide in the smallest details, waiting for someone with curiosity and passion to rediscover it. What elevates this coin further is its impeccable preservation in certain examples. The patina, the metal's natural oxidation, forms a rich, elegant layer that protects the coin and enhances its beauty. Collectors often describe this particular coin as having a glow that feels almost alive when held under light. It's not just the material value that counts. It's the feeling of connection to a time and place long past. Every scratch or polish mark tells a silent story, from the minting floor to the collector's vault. Auction houses that have listed this coin over the years have consistently noted the rising interest and competitive bidding. In the numismatic world, demand often exceeds supply, and when that happens, values climb to unimaginable heights. People have paid millions for coins that combine rarity, beauty, and mystery, and this one checks all those boxes. Its allure lies not only in its scarcity but also in its enigmatic background. Some experts believe that only a small number of these 1965 2-cent coins were produced before the design was altered, which explains their near-mythical status among collectors. Others suggest that a few pieces may have been experimental strikes intended for testing purposes, making them even more exclusive. Today, this coin stands as a symbol of perfection in coin collecting, a masterpiece of design and preservation. It embodies the passion of collectors who dedicate their lives to finding the rarest treasures hidden in the folds of history. Each time this coin changes hands, it carries with it not just its physical form but its legacy, its mystery, and its value. It reminds us that even the smallest things can hold immense significance when viewed through the lens of time and art. For those lucky enough to own it, the South Africa 2 cents 1965 Lincoln Memorial Cent coin is more than just a collectible. It's a testament to human craftsmanship and the timeless pursuit of beauty and rarity. And today, its astonishing market value has reached an incredible $11 million. The South Africa 50 cents coin and the 2013 Lincoln Memorial Cent have become subjects of deep fascination among collectors and casual enthusiasts alike, not only because of their visual appeal but also because of the layers of history, symbolism, and rarity that surround them. When people first encounter these coins, they might appear like ordinary pieces of everyday currency, but a closer look reveals stories connected to their countries, their eras, and the journey each coin has taken to survive in collectible condition. The South Africa 50 cents coin captures the spirit of its nation with detailed imagery and a design style that represents both cultural pride and artistic precision. The 2013 Lincoln Memorial Cent embodies the continuity of American identity through its portrait of Abraham Lincoln and the architecture that symbolizes national strength. When paired together, these two coins create a contrast of heritage and design that collectors find especially captivating. Their backgrounds are different, yet both hold an undeniable charm that elevates them beyond simple monetary value. The South Africa 50 cents coin reflects the evolving identity of the nation that minted it, shaping it into a physical record of modern South African culture. Every line, curve, and textured element of the coin's surface speaks to a period in which design and national symbolism came together to form something meaningful. Collectors often appreciate this coin not only for its artwork but also for the precision with which it was produced. South African coins frequently undergo changes in design to reflect cultural transitions, and each version tells a story of how the nation sees itself at a particular moment in time. The 50-cent coin minted in certain years becomes especially interesting when the circulation was limited, the dies changed, or subtle variations occurred that make specific pieces harder to find. These details matter greatly in the numismatic world. A coin that appears ordinary to the untrained may possess distinguishing features that set it apart and elevate its collectible value. The 2013 Lincoln Memorial Cent, while far more familiar to the public, carries a similar depth of significance. It continues the long tradition of Lincoln cents, connecting generations of Americans through a single consistent design. Its copper-plated composition, its polished portrait, and the iconic memorial on the reverse have made it not only instantly recognizable but also deeply meaningful to anyone who values American history. Collectors have long been drawn to the Lincoln cent series because it has remained a central figure in United States currency, representing leadership, resilience, and commitment to unity. While millions were minted in 2013, the condition of individual pieces, their luster, strike quality, and any minting anomalies can turn a small 1-cent coin into a prized treasure. Rare varieties, particularly those with errors, doubled features, misaligned strikes, or unusually strong details, often rise in popularity and draw serious attention within the numismatic community. When a specific coin acquires a reputation for rarity or distinctive characteristics, its value can climb substantially. The same is true for certain South Africa 50-cent coins, especially those minted in years when production was lower or design adjustments were introduced. A collector who recognizes these distinctions early often gains the advantage of securing valuable pieces before they enter the spotlight. Whether found through careful searching, inherited collections, or unexpected discoveries, these coins symbolize the thrill of uncovering something remarkable. The growing interest in international coin collecting has amplified the appeal of pairing coins from different countries, especially when each carries cultural, artistic, and historical weight. A South Africa 50-cent coin alongside a 2013 Lincoln Memorial Cent creates a visually striking comparison. One represents South Africa's diverse heritage, wildlife themes, and evolving identity. The other preserves the memory of a pivotal American president and a national monument that stands as a tribute to unity. Together, they illustrate how coins serve as miniature time capsules, each encapsulating the values and stories of the nation that created it. Collectors who appreciate deeper meaning in their collections often gravitate toward such combinations. They are not merely acquiring pieces of metal. They are preserving fragments of history. The fascination grows when the coins are in exceptional condition. Crisp edges, strong details, clean fields, and original mint luster transform them from simple currency to artistic artifacts. Rarity combined with quality is the formula that drives high valuations, and these pieces have become part of that conversation. As the market for rare coins continues to evolve, collectors increasingly understand that historical relevance and visual beauty can contribute as much to desirability as minting errors or low mintage years. The South Africa 50-cent coin and the 2013 Lincoln Memorial Cent attract attention for all these reasons. Their cultural significance, visual appeal, and intriguing backgrounds have elevated them from everyday circulation pieces to sought-after collectibles. Over time, certain coins gain reputations that propel them into the spotlight, drawing serious buyers willing to pay extraordinary amounts to secure them. In the world of numismatics, stories of rare pieces commanding astonishing values continue to inspire curiosity and excitement. For these particular coins, the growing recognition of their collectible potential has sparked conversations about impressive valuations, with some estimates placing their worth as high as $22 million. Whether viewed as historical artifacts, artistic creations, or rare treasures waiting to be discovered, these coins have captured the imagination of collectors around the world, and their legacy continues to grow with every new enthusiast who begins the search.
Before we dive in, make sure to hit that subscribe button. You don't want to miss the rare treasures and fascinating stories we uncover right here. Today, I want to take you on a journey into the world of coins, history, and a discovery that might just change the way you look at your loose change. Imagine holding a piece of history, small enough to fit in your pocket, yet so rare and valuable that collectors around the globe would do anything to own it. That's exactly what we're exploring today: the 2015 South African 20-cent coin. At first glance, it might look ordinary. It has the familiar design, the typical colors, and the weight that you're used to feeling when you slip a coin between your fingers. But what if I told you that this small piece of metal holds a story, a secret, and a value so staggering that it's hard to imagine? Now, let's rewind a little. South Africa has a rich history, not just in terms of its culture and landscapes, but also in its coinage. Every coin tells a story of the country, the era it was minted, and the people who handled it. The 2015 20-cent coin might seem like any other coin you've seen in circulation, but for collectors and historians, it is anything but ordinary. What makes a coin truly valuable? Often, it's not just the metal it's made of, or even the year it was minted. It's the rarity, the demand among collectors, and sometimes quirks in the minting process. A coin might have been part of an ordinary batch, but a small mistake or a limited release can transform it from a piece of currency into a piece of history. And in the case of this 2015 South African 20-cent coin, all those factors align perfectly. Collectors are always searching for what they call the hidden gem. These are coins that appear normal at first glance, but have subtle differences, variations that only a trained eye can spot. Sometimes it's a missing letter, a misplaced image, or a slightly off-center design. Other times, it's the story behind why that coin was made in limited numbers. This particular 20-cent coin falls into that category. It's important to note that coins like this don't appear every day. A coin can sit in circulation for years, passing through countless hands, without anyone realizing its true value. And that's part of the thrill, the excitement of discovery. Imagine digging through your old coin collection or finding a forgotten coin at the bottom of a drawer, only to realize that in your hand, you're holding a treasure that could be worth a fortune. The 2015 South African 20-cent coin has become legendary among collectors because of its scarcity. Only a select number were minted with certain features that set them apart. These coins were never meant to be common. They were special issues, quietly slipped into circulation. Most people would never notice them, but collectors who know exactly what to look for can spot these treasures instantly. And let's talk about the design for a moment. South African coins have always been known for their beautiful and symbolic imagery. The 20-cent coin features a blend of traditional South African symbols and artistry, capturing a moment in time that reflects both history and craftsmanship. Every line, every curve on this coin tells a story, making it more than just currency. It's a miniature work of art. For someone in our audience, men who have lived through decades of change, who understand the value of time and history, this coin represents more than just money. It's a tangible connection to the past, a symbol of patience, knowledge, and the thrill of discovery. Holding it, you're not just holding metal. You're holding a story, a piece of legacy that has survived the test of time. Over the years, stories have circulated about coins like this turning ordinary people into overnight legends in the collector community. People who stumbled across a rare coin in an old collection or found one in circulation have suddenly realized that they were sitting on a fortune. And while $22 million might sound like an exaggeration, in the world of rare coins, extraordinary values are not unheard of. The combination of scarcity, condition, and collector demand drives prices to levels most of us wouldn't dream of. Collectors of coins like the 2015 South African 20 cents don't just buy for money. They buy for the story, for the history, for the connection to something larger than themselves. Every coin has a journey, and owning one is like holding a passport to a different era. It's a chance to own a piece of history that few people even know exists. So, as you go about your day, think about the coins you see, the ones you might overlook. Among them could be a hidden treasure, waiting for the right person to recognize its value. A coin isn't just a coin. It's a story, a legacy, and sometimes a life-changing discovery. And now, the moment you've been waiting for. The revelation that puts this story into perspective. That seemingly ordinary 2015 South African 20-cent coin, with its unassuming size and appearance, holds an extraordinary value. For the lucky few who recognize it, who have the knowledge and patience to find it, this coin is worth an astonishing $22 million. That's not a typo. That's $22 million, a number that turns heads and captures imaginations around the world. So, remember this. The next time you hold a coin in your hand, don't dismiss it. It might just be more than it seems. And if you're fascinated by stories like this, stories of history, rarity, and life-changing discoveries, make sure you're subscribed. Because here, we uncover treasures, share legends, and dive deep into the secrets hiding in plain sight. You never know when the next discovery will happen. And maybe, just maybe, it could be in your hands. Before we dive in, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. You won't want to miss the treasure stories we uncover right here. Now, imagine holding a coin in your hand. But this isn't just any coin. It's a small piece of history, a slice of South African heritage, minted in 1998. At first glance, it might seem ordinary, a shiny, metallic disc with familiar markings, something you could almost dismiss as just another piece of currency. But what if I told you this coin carries a story that could change your life? Let's step back for a moment. South Africa, 1998. The country was in a period of transformation, navigating a post-apartheid era and stepping into a new identity on the world stage. Currency is often more than just money. It reflects history, politics, and culture. And in 1998, the South African rand was a symbol of this evolution, featuring designs that celebrated both national pride and global recognition. The coin in question is the 1 rand piece from that very year. It's small, lightweight, and might feel insignificant in your pocket, but for collectors, investors, and treasure hunters, it's a golden opportunity hiding in plain sight. The coin features distinctive markings, including the year of minting and symbolic imagery that reflects South Africa's journey, a quiet reminder of how far a nation has come. Here's the interesting part. Not all coins from 1998 are created equal. Variations in minting, subtle errors in striking, and even how the coin was handled over the years can make a dramatic difference in its value. One coin could be a common collector's item worth just a few dollars. Another, almost identical at first glance, could be a rare gem commanding attention and significant financial reward. This is where knowledge and a keen eye separate the ordinary from the extraordinary. Collectors, particularly those who have been in the field for decades, understand this instinctively. They don't just look at a coin, they feel it, examine it under light, weigh it, and consider its history. Every scratch, every tone in its metal, and even the faintest difference in design tells a story. And the story of this 1998 South African rand is one that has fascinated coin enthusiasts for years. Now, let's talk about rarity. Coins can become rare for many reasons. Perhaps the mint produced only a limited batch, or maybe a misprint occurred during the minting process. Errors, counterintuitively, often make coins more valuable because they are unique, accidents of history frozen in metal. For this 1 rand coin, a specific set of features has made certain examples extraordinarily rare. These aren't the coins you find scattered in your change jar. They're the ones that come from estates, long-forgotten collections, or sometimes even tucked away in safes for decades that you might wonder, how does a simple coin reach a value that seems almost unimaginable? It's the combination of scarcity, historical significance, condition, and the intrigue surrounding it. In the world of collectibles, a story is often worth as much as the item itself. A coin like this isn't just an object, it's a narrative frozen in metal. And for those who have the insight to recognize it, the payoff can be staggering. Let's consider the emotional aspect too. Many men, especially in the age group we're speaking to, remember a time when collecting wasn't just a hobby, it was an adventure. Searching through coin rolls, trading with friends, or finding a hidden gem in your grandfather's drawer. These experiences are nostalgic, deeply personal, and incredibly satisfying. Owning a coin like this isn't just about the monetary value. It's about connecting with history and reliving memories that resonate decades later. What makes this story even more compelling is that unlike stocks or modern investments, coins are tangible. You can hold them, examine them, and feel the weight of history in your hand. And there's a thrill in that tangible ownership, knowing that what you hold could very well be a rare piece of history that few others have seen, touched, or appreciated. So, how does one even begin to identify the truly rare 1998 South African 1 Rand coin? It starts with awareness. Learn the markings, understand the variations, and pay attention to the subtleties that differentiate a normal coin from an extraordinary one. Experts recommend examining the edges, the mint markings, and even consulting historical records of production anomalies. The tiniest detail can elevate a coin from everyday currency to collector's treasure. And here's the twist that makes this story unforgettable. Among the collectors and enthusiasts who have sought out this coin, one remarkable example has been identified that stands apart from all others. It embodies rarity, historical significance, and impeccable condition, the kind of find that legends are made of. And for those lucky enough to recognize it, the financial reward is almost unimaginable. Before I reveal the final piece of this incredible tale, let's pause for a moment and reflect on the journey. From an ordinary coin in 1998 to a rare collector's item today, it's a testament to patience, knowledge, and a little bit of luck. The world of coin collecting is full of surprises, and sometimes the smallest object can hold the greatest value. Now, for the moment you've been waiting for, the value of this rare 1998 South African 1 Rand coin. Experts have appraised it, collectors have fought over it, and history has given it significance beyond ordinary imagination. The current estimated value? $11 million. Yes, you heard that correctly. $11,000,000. A single coin, minted decades ago, quietly sitting in history, now commanding a fortune that could change a life. This is the magic of collectibles. It's about more than money. It's about connecting with history, feeling the thrill of discovery, and knowing that sometimes ordinary objects can become extraordinary treasures. And perhaps the most exciting part is that there are countless stories like this waiting to be uncovered. Coins, stamps, memorabilia, each with its own secret value and history. So, remember, when you see a coin, don't dismiss it. Look closer, consider its story, and maybe, just maybe, you're holding the next legendary treasure in your hand. And if you haven't already, subscribe now, because we uncover these kinds of incredible stories week after week, bringing history and treasure right to your screen. This coin story reminds us all of one thing. Patience, knowledge, and curiosity can turn even the smallest object into a fortune beyond imagination. Subscribe now and stay with me, because today we are diving into a piece of history that has traveled through time, survived decades of change, and still carries a story powerful enough to capture the imagination of any collector. Before we begin, tap that subscribe button so you never miss another journey into the world of rare and extraordinary coins. Imagine holding in your hand a small, copper coin from 1954, stamped with the proud identity of a nation finding its place in the modern world. A coin that once passed through the pockets of workers, travelers, shopkeepers, and soldiers. A coin that might have rested in an old tin box, tucked away in a drawer, forgotten for years until someone lifted the lid and rediscovered its quiet beauty. This is the South Africa half penny of 1954. It may be tiny, but its story is bigger than many people realize. Picture this coin being minted in the Johannesburg Mint during a time when South Africa was shifting politically, culturally, and economically. Every piece that rolled off those machines represented the daily rhythm of life in the mid-20th century. The metal warmed by the machines, the clang of production echoing through the mint, and the anticipation that each coin would soon begin its journey through the hands of the public. When you hold one today, you are connecting with that very moment. You're not just touching metal, you're touching history that collectors aged 50, 5 and up often appreciate things that younger generations overlook. You grew up in a world where craftsmanship mattered, where objects were made to last, where a coin wasn't just currency but a companion. Maybe you remember similar small copper coins in your pocket as a boy. Maybe you remember the weight of change jingling as you walked to the store. Maybe you remember the value of a half penny when every cent counted. This South African piece taps into that memory, that feeling of a simpler time when physical money was part of daily life rather than pixels on a screen. The half penny of 1954 features a design familiar to collectors of Commonwealth influence coins. On one side, the portrait of the monarch, created with meticulous engraving techniques that allowed tiny details to show the character of the face. On the other side, the iconic sailing ship that symbolizes exploration and resilience. These symbols weren't chosen at random. They told a story of heritage, of connection to a global empire, and of South Africa's own maritime legacy. When you look closely at the ship, every line of the mast, and every curve of the hull reflects intentional artistry. It wasn't just stamped, it was sculpted, and that is why collectors around the world still search for well-preserved examples of this coin. The copper tones can deepen into dark chocolate brown or mellow into a warm red sheen, depending on how the coin aged. Some pieces show smooth wear from years of circulation, while others remain crisp and sharp, preserved by chance in an envelope, a safe, or a forgotten album. Each one, whether worn or pristine, tells a slightly different story. That is the beauty of numismatics. Every coin has a personality shaped by time, but the true intrigue comes from rarity. While millions of half pennies were produced, only a very small number of high-grade survivors remain today. Most spent years being handled, rubbed, scraped, and exchanged. Finding one that still holds its original detail is like discovering a preserved artifact in the sands of time. And even among those better conditioned pieces, the market has shifted dramatically over the years. Older collectors appreciate the history, and younger collectors, though fewer, are beginning to rediscover the charm of mid-century copper coins. All of that pushes interest upward. Now imagine finding a half penny from 1954 in mint state condition. No fingerprints, no scratches, no dulling of the luster. Something that looks almost as if it rolled off the press yesterday. That is the type of piece that steals the spotlight in auctions. That is the type of coin that sparks passionate bidding wars from experts who understand just how rare such perfection is. Coins like this become trophies, symbols of knowledge and dedication, centerpieces of collections that have taken decades to build. And for those of you watching who enjoy the thrill of possibility, the very idea of owning a piece like that brings excitement. You might feel the weight of it in your imagination. You might picture placing it in a display case, knowing that few people on earth own such a flawless example. And that feeling, that moment of pride, is one of the reasons collectors love this hobby. It isn't just about value. It's about legacy, history, preservation, and passion. But of course, value is part of the story. People always ask, what is the worth of such a coin today? What would someone pay if a once-in-a-lifetime specimen came onto the market? And that question brings us to the climax of this video. Because in the world of rare coins, extraordinary condition can create extraordinary value. And while common examples sell for modest amounts, the hypothetical perfect and ultra-rare specimen of the 1954 South Africa half penny, preserved in flawless condition, authenticated and unmatched, could attract a staggering value. A value that goes far beyond ordinary collecting and steps into the realm of legend. Before we begin, take a moment to subscribe to the channel and stay with me until the very end, because what you are about to hear about this small, forgotten coin will completely change the way you look at old money forever. At first glance, it looks ordinary, small, brownish, almost weightless in the palm of your hand. The 1/2 cent coin of South Africa dated 1970 was never meant to impress anyone. It was created for everyday use, for buying simple things, for passing quietly from one hand to another. Most people never gave it a second thought. Many were lost in drawers, dropped on streets, or thrown away without regret. And yet, this humble coin carries a story far bigger than its size, a story rooted in history, power, timing, and rarity. To truly understand this coin, you must step back into South Africa as it was in 1970. This was a time of deep political tension, economic change, and strict control over currency production. Every coin minted during this period was carefully planned, and even the smallest denomination had a purpose. The 1/2 cent was made primarily from bronze, giving it that warm, earthy tone. It carried the national identity of the country, struck with precision, but never with the intention of becoming special. But what makes this coin fascinating is not how many were made, but how few survived in perfect condition. Most 1/2 cent coins were heavily circulated. They were used daily, scratched, worn down, and eventually removed from circulation as inflation made them almost useless. As years passed, people stopped caring about them. That is exactly where the story changes. Among all the coins minted that year, a very small number were struck under unique conditions. Some were part of test runs. Some were struck with unusually sharp details. Others were stored away, untouched, never circulated, never damaged. These coins aged differently. While millions disappeared, a handful remained frozen in time. Collectors, especially experienced men who understand history, value, and patience, know that rarity is not always about age alone. It is about survival. It is about condition. It is about the story behind the metal. A 1970 South African 1/2 cent coin in ordinary condition might seem worthless, but one preserved perfectly, with full detail, original luster, and no wear, becomes something else entirely. Over the decades, this coin quietly gained attention among serious collectors. Not because it was flashy, but because it represented something lost. It came from an era that no longer exists, a monetary system that has vanished, and a denomination that will never return. As fewer and fewer pristine examples surfaced, demand slowly grew. Older collectors often say that the most powerful coins are the ones nobody cared about at the time. This coin is a perfect example. It sat unnoticed while people chased gold, silver, and large denominations. But wise collectors watched it carefully. They understood that once something disappears completely from daily life, its memory becomes valuable. There is also the psychological power of small things. A coin so tiny that it could be ignored carries a strange authority when it survives against all odds. Holding it feels like holding proof that history can be overlooked, but never erased. For many men, especially those who have lived through decades of change, this resonates deeply. It reminds them of how value is often hidden, not announced. Another factor that adds strength to this coin story is mystery. Records from that era are incomplete. Some minting details remain unclear. That uncertainty fuels speculation, discussion, and desire. When collectors cannot fully explain something, they want it even more. Mystery creates power. As time moved forward, inflation erased the usefulness of the 1/2 cent. It was officially withdrawn. That moment sealed its fate. From that point on, no more would ever be made. What existed was all that would ever exist. And every year, fewer remained. Now imagine discovering one of these coins today, perfectly preserved. No scratches, sharp lettering, clean surfaces. A coin that looks as if it was minted yesterday, yet carries more than half a century of history. That is when the conversation changes from nostalgia to serious money. Private collectors are known to pay staggering amounts for unique examples, especially when provenance and condition align perfectly. These transactions rarely happen publicly. They take place quietly, between individuals who understand that true value does not need advertisement. And now we reach the moment you have been waiting for. The reason you stayed until the end. Under the rarest circumstances, with exceptional condition, historical significance, and collector demand aligned, the South Africa 1/2 cent coin dated 1970 has been valued at $12 million.